Okay, let's get this show on the road. Right, good. Let's admit everybody. Get that on there, and then forward this onto here. Forward the link onto there, and I think that should be alright. Yeah. Oh, hello, mate. How are you? You alright? Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Oh, that's good. Right, I had the mic on mute. How you doing? All right.
Yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah, all right, good. We've just been doing some analysis. There's a lot of good things setting up. We have the Fed, don't we? We have the Fed news, which is 6 o'clock on Wednesday because the clocks have changed, and so yeah, everything is an hour forward with the US until next weekend. So we have 2 weeks worth of that, and then Asia and Australia, their clocks will change as well. I think by Easter, on Easter Sunday, I believe, Easter Saturday, Easter Sunday, that weekend. So that's when everything changes again.
27th, isn't it? 27th.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so next weekend clocks change. So yeah, it'll go back to being 5 hours ahead of the US. So I'm just going to do a quick analysis for the week, so we know where we're at. So we have to bear in mind that 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, 6 o'clock London time, we have the Fed news that will be of interest to see what they do with interest rates, etc. So just currently looking at gold. If we start on the weekly, gold has given us a weekly bounce, which was Friday evening, Friday afternoon. It rallied off 1700 and it went up to give us a bullish candle on a weekly. So that's why we have a bullish bias to the upside for further upsides. The next target is going to be around 1746 to 1750 to the upside. That's what we're looking for, maybe over the next day or two. It really does depend, maybe how they view the Fed. So it's worth tuning into the Fed notes and Federal Reserve having a news feed set up. That's why I highlighted the news feed that I've got and showing you all the charts that I'm looking at as well, because it's about having yourself set up in such a way to make sure that you're able to see what's going on in the bigger picture. So gold, just drilling down, so we've got that first weekly bullish candle off the 61.8. If we drill down to the daily, we had last week a turnaround Tuesday. We had this bounce up, which then led us to say, okay, we're looking for upside. We tapped out just shy of 1740 before dropping. So we had a reversal candle on the daily. So that was Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, we were able to exploit that move for a decent shorting opportunity. It got stuck and stalled around the 61.8. It was a 618. Oh yeah, no worries, Tyson. Thank you very much. If you need anything or have any questions, just message me. Appreciate all the work you've done. So yeah, this is where we're at. We are now looking at the reversal again, which said, okay, we had a 618 correction. So this is your 61.8 correction from there to there, 1700. It consolidated, didn't it? As you saw on the 1 hour. So I adjusted my stop losses on the shorts to 1708. I know someone brought their stop loss down to 1710. And then obviously it did bounce quite nicely up. So that was the end of that move. But that told us a lot. That gave us a lot of information in terms of what is the intentions with gold. And it's suggesting further upside bias, especially with the weekly being a bullish candle. And this all really confirmed late on Friday. So it wasn't until Friday that we actually saw the confirmation. So I think that was quite an important day, Friday, because we had to wait all week for it to do all of this kind of move. And then we had this key reversal. Right now, we're just parked around the 76.4. So of this current, this current sell-off that we had, we have someone highlighted potential, or was asking me is this a head and shoulders, an inverted head and shoulders? Loosely, it is. So we have the right shoulder at 1700, so that's quite nice. So just put a trend line on that just to highlight it. So 1 hour gold is saying, okay, we're at that 38.2 of the bigger range. So the high of that bigger range is 1816. That's the range. Also, we have a nice 76.4 at 1730. So 1730s is a nice area of interest. We rejected off there this morning for 764 reaction. Didn't really put too much to the downside and was quick to then be bought back up again. The one good thing about this is it suggests that now we have this little range. It's not a little range, still quite a big range, about 100 pip range on gold. Shorts would be considered if we broke back down below, say, 1720s, the low 1720s. Otherwise, we're looking for 38.2 to provide some support and to actually break long. And then that would bring in the MT strategy as well, where you're buying this area right now and looking for the move up to not just the previous high, but looking for the fib extensions. So that would bring it up, that would take it up to 1750 with 1746 as a place of taking some profit as well, which is the 50%. So bullish bias still at the moment, and just longs with stops. Again, the stops need to be quite generous, like 100 pip stop at the moment, really, but down at around 1720. I've opted just to wait and allow it to move, because if you look at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute smaller time frames, it's just doing this at the moment. Look, you see all this price action. So US markets open very, very soon. So that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. Bullish bias potentially. Again, if I was to just drill down a little bit lower, maybe look at a 15-minute chart, you could look at this current range and take that last high and say, okay, it might do a little clear out of stops. It might just stab down, stop everyone out who's trying to go long, and maybe take it down to a 38.2 correction down at 1720. So again, I'm waiting for gold to make its next move, and then we'll trade it accordingly. But that's where we're at. Let's move on. I want to move on to pound dollar. Pound dollar's not doing anything, but we've had a bullish move on the weekly last week, which was a decent push up. So I like that. That's interesting. Drill down. Still bullish. Daily, we had that nice move up with momentum breaking 139.50s, getting up to the 50%. I said around 140, likes of 50% as well. So we got to 140.05. That was fine because I was only looking for about 140 to 140.10. So it stopped perfectly in the middle of that move. Really nice. And here comes Jarvis with his soya beans. There you go. So plant them, mate. See what happens. Might be able to get a goose that lays a golden egg for you. So there we go. We've got got nice reaction off there, off that 50. Made sense. Daily suggesting that we could stay bearish for at least another day or two. Really need to see what it wants to do today for pound dollar. You know, smaller intraday price action saying a move down, a pullback to the 618, which is why I've got these fibs on this Friday's move, because Friday's move was big enough to plot some fibs on it. So when we have decent movement like this, it's always interesting to see this is what's going on intraday. We're just staggering up, trying to get up to, I think we just fell shy of the 618, and the last one didn't quite make it. You see it a bit clearer on the 1 hour. I don't have a trade for this. There's no trade for me here. It may well just go down and retest the low. You know, maybe retest 39 or 38.80 or something like that before going long. But it could just as easily go up to 139.70. But we're in this range now. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the pound dollar because I'm interested in pound pairs as a whole. More so, I'm interested in pound yen. So we move on to pound yen. GBPJPY right now, I did highlight and I did say that the bigger picture, we are at the 38.2 of this much bigger picture, much bigger range. Really important area is 150, 145. I am expecting a push down on pound yen this week. And the reason I'm saying that is because we were at the 38.2 of this huge range. And so I'm expecting it to be acknowledged because it's a weekly fib, 150, 145. And so if we drill down to see it in a little bit more detail, I've basically highlighted this last pullback. It's a 300 pip pullback, and now we've pretty much gone up, broken and extended. And we've gone up and we've parked ourselves just shy of the 161, which is at 152.30. As we know, pound yen likes a 30 number, likes the 80 number. So we're there at the moment. Drill down again, have a little look. I've just put a little trend line. I'm just squeezing the price here at the moment because if you notice this current intraday movement, this is Friday's drop as well. Friday's drop pulled back to 76.4 of this range. Just I'll show you that very quickly. You know, if I was to do that with that, it's basically parking itself at the 764, and we've had a bit of a reaction. So that's I'm acknowledging that, and I'm saying okay, 764 strategy for a potential short back down, but I want to see it break the trend line. And then what I would look for as a first target is 150, 145, because that ties in beautifully with that weekly 38.2 at 150, 145. So 150, 145 downside target. Obviously, if it breaks higher, I'm not interested in going long up here. You know, again, if you look at your weekly charts, we've just been long bullish for so long on the pound yen. You know, 8, 9, 10 weeks of just bullish movement. So I am looking for some corrections to the downside. So 150, 145 as a good area because that's a weekly fib. And then a break of that will give us some fib extensions of this current Friday's first move down. This could be the start of an Elliott wave. So look up your Elliott wave theory. So wave 1 is the first impulsive move. Then we have a 764 pullback, which is a classic. And then wave 3 is the longest move where we would look for the 161 extension. So 161 extension down to 150 area, which ties in quite nicely with previous structure using our divergence strategy. And we have 3-wave divergence as seen on a 4-hour. So 3 wave, there's one, there's just that one, yeah. So there's scope here, there's some confluences lining up quite nicely for some downside potential. All of it becomes void if we just bust on up higher. We'd have to have a look again to see what kind of a move we get. We could just go and test 152.50 area, 152.80 because it likes the 80 area before dropping. So it might give us one sharp spike up like this, you know, something, and then we might then consider shorting it. Right now, if it can break the trend line and start going down, I want to see it break 150, 180 because I said 80 is the area of interest. 150, 180, take it down to about 150, 145. Then if it breaks the 764, look for the lower with some Elliott wave impulsive setups as well for 150, 40, 45 area. So about 100 pips or so, 150 or so pips. So that's pound yen, and that ties in nicely with dollar yen. Dollar yen's also at the 38.2. So both of these yen pairs have done a really good job, both the dollar yen and the pound yen, both at the 38.2 of their much bigger ranges. So again, looking for dollar yen to do the same thing. I'm looking for the weekly candle to close with some bearish momentum to give us some potential for some downside. Counter trend trades to the downside with exhaustion. Again, we've had a very decent move up over the last few weeks, and we have curled back up to retest this area. Slightly just gone above. Again, that could be just some stop hunting to, spike up above previous structure. Certainly the area of interest. Any failure here around 109.25 on a daily and on a 4-hour, looking for that to then give us that move to the downside. So I'm only using dollar yen at the moment as an additional confluence for my pound yen to see if it's going to be a yen related move. Then I'm interested in some sort of move back down. So that's where we're at with that. So I won't go into this one in too much detail. Suffice to say that it's at a good level. It's very fib friendly. It's there. I'd expect it to respect this area, which it's done once perfectly, and it's just done it again. So let's see, is that it, or will it actually give us a proper sell-off and a proper acknowledgement of that weekly fib or that this huge range? So look at it on a 4-hour and on a 1 hour just for just for some detail. So move on to New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has been really nice for us last week into this week so far. Today's done some nice price action back up, which confirmed weekly bullish momentum, further upside. We did capitalise for some downsides. We did share that with you. Again, these things didn't actually develop until Thursday into Friday, so weekly still bullish. I'm just going to drill down to show you these fib levels because there's a lot on here and it could just get a bit muddled. I've left them on here for reference, but let's get rid of something. Let's leave it all alone at the moment. Let's just focus on what's going on here on a daily point of view. So it was good. It was good for that 382 bounce. Really nice area. Previous structure. Short off 7 with stops just above 7240 area. It was good for that. Friday actually was quite nice, and we had a nice 61.8 again. Nice 618 move down, which is pretty decent. So similar to the pound dollar in terms of seeing some sell-off, some corrections. So dollar related move. Not going to go into this in too much more detail because I would take a New Zealand dollar trade if it was New Zealand based, something to do with the New Zealand pound Kiwi news or something. But I'm more interested in this as a secondary, as a confluence, or if I'm going to trade, say, the pound dollar, then I'd look at New Zealand dollar and euro dollar as well to see what they're doing. If they're all moving the same, it's a dollar related move. Then again, have a look at the dollar index as well. But certainly there was a good setup and some pips to be had. Dollar CAD, again, another one that ties in with the dollar. Really nice price action. A couple of weeks ago, we tried to go back above the 764, and this is on the weekly, and it looked optimistic, but it since gave it back. So last week was off the back of the week before, just further bearish downside. It's just weak. And we did say back down to 125, and the next target is 123 and then 122. And the reason we are looking at that is because we're trading below the 764 of this much bigger range, as seen on the daily. We've completed the N shape, so might get a little bit of a rally up, but I am looking at this range here. So if I plot some fibs on here. Dollar CAD is potentially good for a little bit more downside. If it breaks back down below this previous structure, then this is where we're going in terms of some fib extensions, which ties in quite nicely with the low on the weekly. Actually putting in some form of full retracement, so it could step down again, and that gives us 123.91. So round it up to about 123.90s to 124. So that's quite a nice little, nice decent move on dollar CAD for the next downside. But of course, we might just go up here a little bit first as a retracement to acknowledge previous structure, and then go again based on whatever's going on with the CAD and also the dollar index and the dollar as well. So that's what we're looking at there, dollar CAD, because I know some of our traders are trading that. Moving on to euro dollar, I've got a couple of things here on the. Let's have a look at the daily. Yeah, daily. This is the daily. It remains in a bit of a consolidating range, but keeps testing previous structure. And again, dollar base. So we see what happens with the dollar moves. See if it wants to just drop. See if it wants to sell off. It's certainly trying. It's certainly on the daily. We've got this bias to the downside to at least retest the lows as a simple trade. Without much drama, stops above 120. That's quite nice. And then we've got the fib extensions, which of course we did acknowledge here, and we bounced up off it. So another move down would suggest back down to around 1187, 1170s, 11880. It likes the 80 number, likes the 20 number. So 11880 area. So 118.80 euro dollar. That might time with the 764 of this actual range as well, which again, if we drill down here, do this, go like that, put that like that, there you go. you know, without even looking, you can tell it's sort of a 76% potential retracement back down, which ties in quite nicely with those fib extensions. So again, you're looking for confluences. We're seeing multiple confluences. So potential downside to so from 119.20 to 118.80 as a retest of that low. Then from there we'll see. Again, keep an eye on all the dollar related pairs for confluences. Bigger picture, just to say, bigger picture. Get a nice full extension on this last range. You know, there's a bit of price action. So we had the first move, Elliott wave again. There's your Elliott wave 1. We had the Elliott wave pullback to the 764. Missed it by a handful of pips, but you know, that's a decent spike up with the rejection. So Elliott wave 1, Elliott wave 2, euro dollar. I see the Elliott wave set up, you know, often on the euro dollar. It seems pretty good for it, Elliott wave theory. So we got Elliott wave 1, Elliott wave 2. Google Elliott wave if you're not clear on it. I've got a video on it as well on my YouTube playlist, I think, on Elliott waves, and I give you a couple of real life examples on both euro dollar and pound dollar. So check it out, have a look. Very good. What we're looking for in terms of extension is the 161 on this pullback now. 161 extension. So that would give us 117.72.5. So again, you could round it up to 117.80. So first target could be 118.80. Next target 117.80 for another 100 pips. It's a couple of decent downside levels. And that ties in quite nicely with the potential for a little bit of a stretch down, depending on volume, to the 38.2 of this last major big old swing up, which comes in at around 116.94.9 to 95. So round that up to 116.95 to 117. So a couple of downside potential levels to maybe just be tested, and then decide what it wants to do after that. We'll see if it wants to play out. Quickly move on. I'll get all this stuff done for you, and it's recorded, and then you can look back, and then you can ask some questions as well. Dollar yen. I've got euro yen. My apologies. Euro yen is an additional confluence that ties in nicely with pound yen and dollar yen, because this one doesn't move as independently. It tends to move in line with whatever's going on with the yen or the euro. So it's one of those that you take in addition. But I know somebody who likes to trade this a lot. So you know, this has actually gone up quite nicely week after week as well, some bullish momentum. So what I've done is on my weekly chart, I've just, because we are sideways, because again it reacts to whatever's going on with the euro or the yen. So it can just stay, you know, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, you know, so there's no, this is the range, big consolidating swings. So that's, you know, that's a bigger picture. But what I do here is I would drill down to this. Let me just pull it back. So I just wanted to show you that on the bigger time frame, so you understand what euro yen is all about. I don't trade euro yen on its own, as I say, as an additional confluence to whether or not I'm trading a pound yen move or a euro yen move. So we pull that back, and we'll focus on this range here, and the last swing high notably, and the last swing low. And we can pull that across as well if we wanted to, but what I wanted to show you again is 132.05. So looking for 132 upside potential. Maybe get up to 132. Will it get there? If it breaks back down below, so at 129, 128.67 could be another little retest. It's not great, not clear, but certainly if we see further upside with yen related pairs, or we see some euro, you know, another euro bullish drive, then this could be one of those that you take in addition to, if it's bullish. If it's all bearish, I'm not really too sure where to take this in terms of downside, because for me, I've got, if I do this and look at this last impulsive drive up, you know, I would want to mark my charts with that last low in mind. So on my daily would be something like this. It's a big old range. My 38.2 therefore is not until all the way down here at 124.30 area. So unless we confirm that we're in a bearish move, and it's a yen move or a euro move to the downside, I'm not keen on shorts. But we're so close to that 764 that I could quite easily see that get up to 132. So that's why I wanted to highlight it to you, because 132 is within slingshot, so to speak. But again, I wouldn't take this on its own. I'd only take it if I saw a euro move or a yen move that was suggesting some bullish appetite to the upside. So could be some extra money to be made there. That's all I'm saying. Bitcoin's tested 60, broken 60,000. Remember last time I was shorting it or saying it's going to do a correction. I was looking for 42,000. Well, it did 43 instead, didn't it? But you know, not bad to get on this, or to recognise that we were going to see a correction, that we were due a correction. So now I'm looking at this previous structure having not been tested at 42, which if the bubble bursts for whatever reason, Bitcoin has anything going on, because it's still a relatively new technology, isn't it, at the end of the day. If there's any problems ever highlighted with Bitcoin, anything at all, and we start seeing some selling pressure come in, then of course we'll start applying the technicals to look at what sort of a major sell-off we would have. But right now at the moment, it's just, it goes up to these round numbers, and we always see the action at the weekend, and then we see a correction. So again, didn't quite get up to 62,500 as a 127 extension. Otherwise, that would have been a good place for it to short with divergence for back down to 58,350 area, which you see the divergence here. Again, very, very clean. Volume is so much lower. So much lower, about half in fact. If you put fibs on this range, which you can do as well, you know, you can do that here. You can go like that, and you can just do that. People didn't think of that, but people don't necessarily do that, but they do. Some technical analysts that are very techie, they do. They'll put fibs on the volume as well, which is fine. So that's something else that people might not think to do. You know, I'm not too fussed. I like to see my fibs on my charts. I do bear it in mind. Again, you can see it without doing it. That was roughly sitting. It's about halfway. Significantly lower. That's all I needed from this to highlight that there's divergence. It's a shame it didn't tap out there for the perfect classical drop back, but divergence did lead to a pullback, and we did have that thrust up. So again, you know, we are going into uncharted territories. To be fair to Bitcoin, it's not like we've been here ever before in its history. But yeah, decent. So what do I do now? Well, I've got the range, and I've taken that last major swing low. You could do this in another way as well, by saying, okay, we've got this range on that last major, but most of you would probably say, well, what about the last swing low? Well, yeah, so we do that as well. Put the fibs on there. Take it from that last swing low to there. And look for the 38.2. So yeah, there you go, 38.2, spike down to it. So we've had a 382 correction. Now we'll see what it wants to do next. Bitcoin does move quite well though with the fibs. Everything does generally. It doesn't matter what you trade. That's why I like fibs. Just, you know, that's it. Simple as they work. I mean, look at that for a touch. 38.2 pullback. 54,615. Just bang, done. So yeah, opportunities are there on all of these pairs. That's why I brought them into my watch list, because I was looking at everything over the weekend just to see what's what, and these are the ones I've picked. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I figured that you'd probably be interested in some of them. Anything else that you guys want to look at? Do I use my fibs on my drive to help with parking? Yes. No. Just press the OK button when it comes up and says, does it want to park itself? It's got parking assists. Sometimes I'll use the parking assists just because it's tech, and I like tech, not because I can't reverse park, but I will use it on the cars because it's the fun of it. But any questions regarding trading, not parking? Any questions? Anything you want me to look at? Have I covered everything? Because that's nice. That's half an hour. Get everything sorted on these live sessions. Then we've got it. It's recorded. It's Monday. Give it a chance. Bear in mind, Wednesday we have the Fed speaking at 6 p.m. because of the clock change. Just to remind you, clocks have changed in America for the next 2 weeks, this week and next week. And then Asia and Australia, they change their clocks. The countries that do change their clocks, that'll be on Easter Sunday, 2 weeks on, so 4 weeks' time. No, good. Good. I'm glad. So hopefully that's all helped you. Any questions, you can just send me a Telegram message at ALX_TYW. There's yeah, I've got my eyes on gold at the moment, just eyeing that up. I was kind of hoping that things would happen, move, but they haven't. Now the US markets are just opening up at 1:30 instead of 2:30, so they've just opened now. Just looking for them to see what kind of a push up they're gonna give or push down or whatever. Anyway, there you go. Have a great day. Have a great afternoon. If you need anything, just send me a message. All right, take care then, everyone. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries at all. Cheers, guys. Bye for now. Oh, actually, you got chat on there. Yeah, that's cool. Done. Cheers, mate. Cheers, everyone. Bye.